Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Mountain Murders Midweek.
That's right.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
Yo.
What it is, girl?
How's it going? I was going to ask you how it's hanging, but I'm afraid of the response. So how's it going, Dylan?
It's going great. And everything's hanging fine.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great. That's excellent. Wonderful. Anything exciting happening with you?
No, just
Okay.
I'm just being honest. No, I'm just hanging out. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. Yeah.
Here in the middle of the week.
In the middle of the week. If you've missed our latest episode, make sure you check out the heinous murder of Amber Robinson.
Oh my gosh. What a terrible story.
Honestly, it's one of the saddest cases we've covered in a minute.
So pointless. So random and pointless.
So
you know?
Make sure you check that out. And the little housekeeping, Dylan, don't forget, we have some brand new gear in our merch store. I will drop a link in today's show notes. You can check that out. I think we've got some cool designs, Dylan.
I think we have many cool designs designed by Heather.
Yeah.
Yeah. With some great price points.
Some good, yeah. We try to keep the prices low for our listeners.
In this terrible economy.
And if you're thinking about supporting the podcast, Patreon's a great way to do that. Patreon.com/Mountain Murders Podcast. You can access those bonus ad-free episodes. Get a shout out on the show, right? Anywho, Dylan, let's get into today's episode. I thought we could do something a little different today.
Oh, yeah?
Spooky season is ahead.
Man, it's almost Halloween time.
Dude, I've already seen Halloween candy out in the stores. The other day I was in one of the dollar stores. I won't say which one. Picking up some cleaning products and some little dog food for Rufy. They had Halloween candy out.
Already.
Which I'm excited because I love those Cadbury cream eggs. And now they have the Cadbury Scream eggs. And I've talked about this multiple times. I love those things. So I was tickled that, yes, I can get some Cadbury Scream eggs. But it's like school just started.
Yeah, it seems a little early. I mean, I don't remember if this is the time. It seems like they're doing it a little bit early this year.
Dude, in a week or two, they'll have Christmas decor out.
Gosh.
Which I went into a big box store that sells craft stuff the other day.
A craft store?
Yeah, I won't drop the name, but you could probably hang out in the lobby, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, Snobby Bobby.
And I don't know if it's year-round or what, but they had a gigantic Christmas section that took up like a fourth of the store.
Dude, I bet it's year-round.
So I don't know if that's... Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing it's year-round, but I was like, what the hey? So they have this huge Christmas section, and then they had a little tiny section of like fall decor, no Halloween stuff. And I'm just like, I'm really confused about the seasonal thing that happens in our commercialism.
I gotta say, as far as I know, Christmas is the only holiday that has dedicated year-round stores and just almost like a culture all its own, and just the decor.
You know what thrills me to my core, Dylan?
What?
Spirit Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said the name. Sponsor us, Spirit Halloween. Opened up just down the street from us.
Yeah.
For the first time in my whole life, I won't have to drive like 30 miles plus to visit a Spirit Halloween store.
You know, it's funny with them because it's almost like a pop-up. You don't know where they're literally gonna pop up, because they do these short-term rentals on these empty spaces, because obviously they only need to be open for about, what would you say, 2 months?
2-3 months.
2-3 months, 2.5 months. And they don't need to pay to rent the space all the other times. And the speed that these things pop up, you don't even, one day it's not there, and then boom, the next day it's there.
Fully stocked,
crammed to the gills, and that place will get cleaned out.
Yes.
If you go anywhere less than a week plus before Halloween, you
ain't finding shit.
You ain't finding nothing good.
I know my daughter a few years ago wanted to dress up like a pickle.
Okay.
I believe it was a pickle costume she wanted. I don't know why. Looked everywhere. Somebody told us to go to Spirit Halloween. Could not find a damn pickle costume. Of all the costumes in the place. And I'm like, that's what sells out?
Yeah.
A pickle? Okay. Anywho.
Yeah, well, pickles are pretty popular.
Have you thought about your Halloween costume this year, Dylan?
We always say we're going to dress up, and then we end up we don't do it.
That's not true. We do dress up.
Sometimes.
This past year, we dressed up with our friends.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do this year. I don't know what I want to be.
Well, think about it. We're taking suggestions. If you have any awesome costume ideas, couple costumes for Heather and Dylan, email us, mountainmirrorspodcast@gmail.com. Also, we're taking listener stories, so we'd love to hear from you guys. Dylan, without further ado, spooky season is upon us, as I mentioned. And I thought we could talk today about some of the most haunted places on the East Coast in case our listeners want to plan a haunted road trip for the fall.
Man, that's
a lot of people take their vacation in the fall now. They don't do the summer vacations. They go on a fall break.
Well, I don't blame them because a lot of times, depending on where you go, the weather starts to, calm down a little bit.
Sometimes it's more affordable.
Sometimes it's quite a bit more affordable, and the crowds are a little less. When school starts back, it clears some of the people out. But I don't ever remember taking a good vacation in the fall.
That's not true. We went to Hilton Head a few years ago in October and had a great time.
We did have a great time because we were like the only people there.
Yeah. I loved it. Had the whole beach to myself.
And the rates were great.
It was excellent.
But you be aware that some things may not be available if you go to the beach and places like that in the fall. Some things may be closed down.
Okay,
already.
We're not into the touristy stuff.
Well, I did want to go on a boat ride and see dolphins.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember you mentioning this.
You don't remember me mentioning this?
No.
Well, I wanted to. I want to swim with them. I'm going to fight them off.
You want to swim with the dolphins?
Yeah, No, I don't actually. They're scary creatures. But I'd like to see them doing the dolphin thing out of the water.
They're sexually aggressive.
That's what they say. And people's like, oh, he loves me. But oh, no, he's not loving you.
Oh, he's loving you all right.
He's making sweet love to you.
No, I do not consent to dolphin sex. All right, Dylan, let's get into it. Let's talk about some of the most haunted places that you might want to visit ahead of Halloween. Our first stop on our haunted road trip is Camp Taylor, which is located in Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, I don't think I've ever heard of Camp Taylor.
Well, Camp Taylor might just be the second most haunted neighborhood in the United States.
Damn.
This small community was once a military camp named after General Zachary Taylor. The streets are named after other generals like Sherman and Lee. And during the camp's time as a military site, the tuberculosis epidemic struck Louisville. Camp Taylor was devastated by the disease, and the bodies were said to be stacked from floor to ceiling in some of the buildings.
Damn.
Ghostly soldiers and even a few women from a bygone bordello are said to wander the neighborhood.
So it's like sexy ghosts.
Yeah, can you imagine? We always hear about these these hauntings. We like ghostly soldiers and like scary ghosts. But what if you saw like a sexy ghost? She's all decked out in her corset.
Wow.
Right?
That'd be kind of hot.
Like a busty like redhead or something.
Oh, dude, if she's got a corset on, I'm done. Something about corsets that just tear me up.
Well, honey, you can wear one if you want.
Yeah.
I will help you get into your corset. Your corset. I will lace you up.
You would lace me up all super tight to where I couldn't breathe.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll pour you in one like some damn Bisquick in a pan.
Yeah.
All right. So many residents have reported seeing soldiers walking in formation across the fields and streets. And there's also a blonde woman in a blue Victorian era dress that is known to wander the area. Others have reported a young girl who roams Taylor Boulevard, kind of along with the soldiers, but her origin is unknown.
So if you see a ghost, not only a ghost, but a whole regiment of ghosts marching in formation, that would be quite the sight to see.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know about all that.
That might be too much.
Another stop on our Kentucky haunted road trip, Dylan, is the old Talbot. Sorry, I cannot talk today. The old Talbot Tavern in Bardstown. Now, we've driven by Bardstown quite a few times, but have never actually stopped there. But I'd like to go check it out. And this actually gives me a good reason to do that.
Talbot's Tavern.
The old Talbot Tavern.
Okay.
So this might be the oldest tavern in Kentucky. It was built in 1779. Now, how cool would that be to visit a bar or a tavern, saloon, a pub that is over 200 years old?
There's not many things in the country that were established that long ago. So that's pretty wild.
It's located at 107 Stephen Foster Avenue. Now known as the city of Bardstown, the community didn't have a name when the tavern was constructed. It was a well-known stagecoach stop that has seen many travelers, and probably one of the most famous, Jesse James, the outlaw.
The outlaw Jesse James.
And also a banished king stayed there.
A banished king?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, a band.
I was like, has he been made to stop being in the band?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking bandit.
Ah, the bandit king.
My tongue got tied.
See, that would be even cooler.
It was tied up in a knot, like I had a cherry stem on my mouth.
Like the king of the bandits.
I meant banished, but I was thinking Jesse James, outlaw, bandit. See how my brain works? Now, there are several rooms that still hold markings from the Jesse James visit, including one room where he was attacked and another where he thought he saw someone in his room and fired a weapon repeatedly, leaving bullet holes in the wall.
Oh, wow.
It is rumored that the specter was the very first ghost reported in the old Talbot Tavern, and that Jesse James actually had an encounter with this ghost.
See, that seems like a made-for-cable movie, like Jesse James versus the Ghost.
Is this the follow-up to like Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter?
Hey, that movie was pretty good, I thought.
Really? I thought it got like...
You didn't like it?
Well, I don't even know if I've seen it, but I thought it got like really bad reviews.
Oh, who cares?
No, I thought people just panned it.
Well, they always pan horror. Yeah, I mean, it happens
no,
more
I mean,
often.
even like, average people were like, wow, this is not good.
Well, I liked it.
Okay, well, you like a lot of stuff.
It made sense to me. Because why would...
For some reason, that makes sense to me that it makes sense to you, Dylan.
Why wouldn't Abe Lincoln be a vampire hunter? I mean, honestly.
Well, I'm not saying that that is a dumb plot line. I think that sounds amazing, right? Or what if Abe Lincoln was a vampire and they found out and that's why they assassinated him, but he's really not dead?
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's just like living in Canada or something.
Just like an eternal Abe Lincoln?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like maybe he's a lumberjack?
Damn. Because he'd be swinging that axe. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, Dylan. Anyway, visitors today to the tavern report hearing strange footsteps, disembodied voices, seeing the apparitions of a man and a woman, and doors opening on their own.
Okay, that's all stuff that would freak me the hell out.
Yeah, we've had listener stories sent in where people describe this type of thing. Doors opening on their own, closing.
Yeah.
We've actually experienced some weird shit like that in some of the weird houses we've lived in.
We've had some strange encounters, certainly.
Now, I have to say, this is like the first house we've lived in that I haven't felt that we're haunted.
No, I think this place is clean. Yeah, I cleansed it when I put on my I'm a shaman on the weekends, and I cleansed it a few times. Did my sage, got my 4 crystals on the corners and such. It's good. It's clear.
I don't believe that. You asked me last night if there was a tarot card for what the hell.
Well, I just want to, I'm trying to relate to the tarot cards because sometimes I'm just like, whatever. Wheel of Fortune, yeah, sure. So in my mind, I'm making tarot cards, or I wish there were ones that kind of hit home with me. And what the hell?
Oh my gosh. We should design the Dylan Packer tarot card deck.
Okay. All right.
The Mountain Murders Dylan tarot card deck. And we could have cards like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Which could be like the Wheel of Fortune card.
It could be, what the hell? What comes next? Right?
Yeah. What the hell? I like that. I'm going to get to work on this, Dylan. We're taking ideas. So if you have ideas for Dylan's tarot deck, let us know. While you're in Louisville, Dylan, you might want to check out the Cave Hill Cemetery.
I've never heard of this one. Have you ever heard of this cemetery?
No, but it's resting place to many famous Kentuckians, including the Frito-Lay magician.
Okay, no offense, Kentucky, but is that a famous Kentuckian?
It says it is, Dylan. The Colonel, meaning Colonel Sanders,
Oh, okay. See, that's a big one there.
thank you for your service. And most recently, Muhammad Ali. It is located at 701 Baxter Avenue in Louisville, and it was built back in the 1800s. You know, I love me a good 1800s cemetery, Dylan.
Oh my gosh, I was today years old when I found out Muhammad Ali's from Kentucky. I did not know that.
I don't know if he's from Kentucky. He's just buried there. Don't be giving out misinformation. You don't know. Fact check. The grounds were designed in the peak of the Victorian era to be kind of like a garden-style resting place for the deceased upper class and soldiers. Now, it's not uncommon in modern times to hear unexplained sounds and footsteps in the cemetery. There's also been a variety of orbs reported, unexplained lights that appear at night and have been captured on film. There are ornate tombstones and statues that stand guard over the bones, but the spirits are still said to wander. Those who have entered the cemetery at night deem it a hub of paranormal activity. Dylan, I have to visit this place.
It sounds awesome.
To hear Victorian era garden style, that sounds gorgeous.
Would you go at night? Late at night?
Yeah, I'll go any time of the day. You know, I like to go to cemeteries at night. You
Yeah.
know why? Because it's quiet.
It's peaceful.
It is like good energy
Very good energy.
at cemeteries at night.
Typically.
Yeah, I've never really had bad vibes at the cemetery, except that one time we heard that cackling and some animal sound growling at us. Scared the shit out of us. But other than that, you know, it's cool.
You know, some of the listeners out there are just like, you guys are full of shit.
No,
But
we're not.
I don't know what was going on that night, but it was certainly strange.
We heard a cackle. I mean, it sounded like what you would think of like a witch, like a cartoony witch cackle.
Yeah.
Like, kind of, right? Am I kidding?
No. And like chains rustling,
And we
even
were-
though there's not a single chain in that cemetery.
And we were like, what the fuck was that? And then we heard a growl, like this low, guttural, like animalistic growling sound,
Yes.
though there was nothing around.
Right.
And then we had some other weird experiences that night. And then we got the hell out of there quickly. Right?
And we were sober.
Yes.
So that's what really struck me as the odd part.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Dylan. So if you're still in Louisville, you might want to go check out Old Louisville. It is a neighborhood that was built during the late 1800s and early 1900s and was considered a premier community in Kentucky. The area featured beautiful French Revival and Georgian architectural designs, many with like castle style, the turrets, the stained glass windows.
That sounds awesome.
Man, I want to go there. This sounds beautiful.
I just want a house with
This is my neighborhood right here.
I want a house with a turret
Who doesn't?
and some stained glass.
I also want a house with like a machine gun turret. Anyway,
Well, yeah.
can I have a machine gun on my turret?
I don't know. I guess it depends on the gun laws in the state that you might try to build it in.
With my razor wire fence?
We can do that.
Now, I really want to do that. Well, not only for security, but just because it would look pretty gnarly.
So you would buy an old house, you would paint it black, and you would surround it with a black 8-foot tall chain link fence with black razor wire on it.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got to send a message to the neighbors. Like, no, I do not want to buy your Girl Scout cookies.
No, please don't solicit at my house.
Some residents loved it so much they chose to hang around after death. And death has visited this neighborhood often over the years because, again, there was a tuberculosis epidemic that wiped out much of the population. And then there were some unexplained tragedies that happened here. There were fires, mysterious deaths, and suicides. I'll be able to get it out today. A high concentration of spirits are said to roam the area. Men, women, children, many whom are believed to have perished during the tuberculosis epidemic. In particular, people report seeing an old woman who turns into a black cat.
Oh, wow.
There's also a man who has a cloak and a hat that lingers near 6th and Hill.
He's a lingerer?
And he wears a cloak and a hat. And then there's a dark-haired woman in a Victorian dress. This neighborhood has actually appeared on the Travel Channel and has been featured on some paranormal shows and is considered one of the most haunted neighborhoods in the country.
So, once again, you have a place where there was a tremendous amount of suffering and death quickly, lots of death at once. And I think oftentimes in places where stuff like that happens, that certainly energy gets imparted into the land or something to that effect, which gives you that ominous feeling, or, if you get goosebumps or the hair standing up on your neck. Or I've wondered in some of these places if it works in concert with maybe where ley lines come underneath.
You've mentioned that to me before.
Or, if people aren't familiar with ley lines, people believe there's these ley lines all over the earth, and there's a pattern to them, which you can actually look up. And you'll see sometimes these lines converge or across each other. And
like crossroads.
Yeah, and create what these essentially an energy vortex.
Ooh.
Yeah, I knew a place that was a piss hole vortex. Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe we won't talk about that.
Yeah, we're never going back there.
Moving along, Dylan. Let's stop in Maryland on our road trip.
Okay.
Because we're just cruising around the East Coast right now. We're kind of focusing on some of those mid-Atlantic kind of Appalachian states, right? So let's talk about the Dr. Samuel A. Mudd House.
Samuel A. Mudd?
Yeah. So it's in Waldorf, Maryland, and it's a house connected to one of the most famous moments in American history. It is there that Dr. Mudd sheltered John Wilkes Booth after Booth assassinated President Abraham Lincoln. Why does Lincoln keep coming up today?
I don't know.
It's because you want to go drinking with Lincoln.
It's because he's a damn vampire.
Unaware of Booth's crimes, Dr. Mudd tended to his broken leg, which caused him to be accused of complicity in Lincoln's assassination. So he faced imprisonment until his wife, her name was Frances, she was determined to secure a pardon from President Andrew Johnson. So now it's a museum, and visitors and staff report sightings of Dr. Mudd's ghost, as if he's still on the property reporting for duty, as a doctor. On one occasion, there were some indentation forms on a bed where Booth once rested, as if his spirit was still lingering there, convalescing. Adding to the spectral tales, the presence of Mrs. Frances Mudd is said to haunt the premises. Witnesses attest to unexplained voices, and electric candles flicker to life during Civil War reenactments.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's a museum. And it's open on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And admission is free for kids. And it's only $10 for adults. So if you are in Maryland, you might want to go check that place out.
Now, I wonder if there's a market for doing house calls nowadays. You think a doctor who went back to the old school method of, going to people's homes and visiting them and all that mess, you think that would be something people were into?
Well, I do. But I also think that it could be dangerous. I mean, unless they're an established patient. Maybe.
You're saying.
But I mean, most folks don't want to just randomly go to someone's house, especially a stranger,
Well, yeah, I mean, I get that.
Be unsafe.
So you're saying it's probably not going to come back.
In my paranoid mind, I'm not doing it. But yeah, I mean, I guess if you're an established patient, I don't know. It could probably work.
You just instantly go to the worst part of it.
Yeah.
What could be bad about it.
Right. I'm a doctor. I'm knocking on the door. I don't know that Buffalo Bill lives there. He puts me in the basement. He's telling me to put the lotion on my skin, right? He's got Rufus barking at me.
What Buffalo doesn't know is I would gladly put the lotion on my skin because I'm dry and ashy and I itch a lot.
You got to go to a dermatologist. You're the itchiest person I've ever met.
You can't make me. I'm not going to go. I'm just going to continue to itch.
You're like an old cow rubbing up on a fence. You're constantly scratching your back on something.
My back itches.
I'm what?
It's itching right now, as a matter of fact.
I think you need to go to the doctor with that complaint. My back itches.
What brings you in here today, Mr. Packer? My back's itching. Itching.
It's like the one time I fucked my finger up and had to go to the doctor, and I was like, my finger hurts, and I felt so stupid.
Did you really?
Yes.
What'd you do to your finger?
I don't even know.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, I'm trying to remember. I had like trigger finger, that kind of thing, and it
Oh.
like stuck, and it turned out there was like some cyst or something in there.
Oh, like
and,
around the joint?
Yeah, and then I just felt stupid being at the doctor, like my finger hurts. Yeah,
They were making fun
but
of
it
you.
was really painful.
Like your finger just hurt
Yeah,
the whole time?
and I would bend it and it would get stuck, and I couldn't like unbend it.
Oh.
And they had to put like a splint on it. I mean, this has been like 20 years ago, but I felt really stupid.
Did they have to get the little cyst out or
My
something?
finger hurts.
They have to cut on you?
No, he didn't get it out.
Oh. See, I could have done that.
Yeah, I mean, it was lame.
I could have done that at your house.
But
See?
I had to think. I was like, what did I go to the doctor for? Oh, yeah. It was when my finger was all stuck in place. It was just
I
a
could have
cyst.
come by your house and took care of that. You never had to left.
Throw a dictionary at me.
Yeah.
I'm going to slap this dictionary down on your finger now. Be still.
Be like, I got to put these leeches on you. They're going to help your finger.
Maybe that's what I can do for your itchy back. You stand, and I'm going to fucking hit you in the back with a dictionary. We'll see if it works.
Oh. We'll make you forget about your itchy back.
I'm going to beat the itch out of you.
Dude, that'd be my shtick. I'll bring back like medieval medicine.
Yeah.
Because, like holistic's in, right? So I'll just do like bloodlettings and
bring
leeches.
in the leeches.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like if people have need wound care, I'll just like let flies lay maggots on it, lay eggs on it, and then the maggots will eat all the old flesh off.
Now, this is completely not related to that at all, but it kind of is a little bit. I got a free trial on Amazon Prime of this, it's like Classic Courses channel or something. I don't even know what it's called. But anyway, it's a channel that has all this educational documentary programming, right?
Yeah.
And somehow I managed to stay up last night for hours embroidering, okay, until my hands hurt today. I probably end up with a damn stuck finger again.
You gonna have that?
My finger hurts,
I
doctor.
got needle finger, doc.
Yeah. No, I did. I was embroidering until my hands went numb. But I finished my project, so yay for me. So while I am embroidering, I started watching this 12-part series, and I made it through like 8 parts.
Damn.
On the sex in medieval times.
Oh.
It's really interesting. But they would talk about some of the different birth control methods that were used by these medieval folks.
Well, give me one example.
Like dipping a sponge in honey.
Okay.
Which could be effective, but then it could get trapped or like lost in your insides.
Yeah.
I think that was a ghost. I'm just kidding. It was my son. So then, of course, that could cause problems.
So I could see that happening with the modern day sponge, honestly.
Using animal intestines as like a condom.
Oh, so like a lambskin condom.
I guess so.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You know, I mean, there were
Is
just
that
some...
sanitary?
Well, no.
They soak it in mead.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But it was interesting because a lot of, I think, modern sexual ideals and taboos and whatnot are derived from these periods because the church heavily influenced people's attitudes towards sex.
The damn church. Won't you just let people have sex?
Like it was illegal to have sex for pleasure. It was only for procreation.
Well, I'm sorry. I procreated 9 times last night.
And so there was no legal way really to prove that you
Right.
were fornicating for fun. You know what I mean? But if you were, it was really frowned upon. You're only supposed to be doing it to make babies.
Which sounds ridiculous to me. I mean, honestly.
You think so?
Well, yeah. What happens when you...
Look, the good Lord just gave us these parts and he wanted us to rub them together.
What happens when you're like beyond childbearing age and you just never have sex again?
Yeah, it sounds okay to me. I hear a lot of women of a certain age feel that way.
Oh.
So you just get over there. All right, so let's move along here. Maryland, Glendale Hospital in Maryland was established in the 1930s to combat tuberculosis. Man, TB keeps popping up, doesn't it? It harbors a very dark history. Adults and children often sought solace within its walls. There were sinister tales of suffering and inhumane treatments that has long cast a shadow over the hospital's past. It was finally closed in 1984. So recent explorers of the abandoned facility have recounted chilling experiences, Dylan. Echoes of eerie sounds, from cries to laughter, even the scent of burning flesh.
Oh.
Apparitions of patients and dogs have been reported. Yet the most, I would say heart-wrenching, but also just damn creepy sighting centers on a man in a straitjacket who, burdened by guilt, took his own life after witnessing a family tragedy. So the ghost of this man, just looking super forlorn, walking around in a straitjacket, has been spotted.
Dude, a straitjacket itself is creepy. I mean, it really is. Old school one, you know? I don't know if there is a modern day equivalent. I know there's like a chair they strap you to if they're worried about, sometimes if they're worried about these things where people are totally out of control, they'll use it as a discipline or to, you know, kind of calm them down, which I could only imagine would not help me calm down at all, being strapped and restrained. I couldn't even imagine being like tied to a bed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not in a cool way.
Oh, well, I was thinking about the chair too. I was like, don't they have strappy sex chairs? See where my mind goes immediately?
Is that a thing?
Yes, Dylan.
Strappy sex chairs?
So the property is currently owned by the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. The building is not open to the public, so you actually can't go inside, but they do allow people to walk around the perimeter, it seems.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Is it, Dylan?
So he's got a bunch of people walking around the outside wishing they were inside.
Sure.
See, isn't that the irony? Now people want to get in the place.
The Lord Baltimore Hotel opened in 1928 and is famous for its paranormal encounters. Guests have recounted eerie experiences like having dreams and feeling like there's a ghost presence, like a ghostly presence while they're asleep. When they wake up, they feel really uneasy.
Oh.
Like they've been watched all night. Some even claim to have been touched by unseen hands in the elevator and lobby. Well, as long as they're unseen and not unclean.
Well, I thought you were going to say unsanitary hands.
Well, they might be.
But like he touched them in them old dirty ghost hands.
Don't you give me your tuberculosis, you son bitch. The elevator's peculiar behavior is a common tale. It frequently ascends to the 19th floor unprompted, and here guests have reported seeing a little girl in a cream-colored dress clutching a red ball. Guests claim the girl is usually crying, rocking, or screaming.
Wow.
Hello, Shining. The hotel also carries the tragic tale of a married couple in formal wear that were driven to a tragic end by the 1929 stock market crash. Many believe that these lingering spirits are the same ones like guests encounter today. You know, a lot of people were so impacted or so scared about the stock market crash that they took their own lives.
Yeah.
And that's just wild to me.
Well, I mean, it's
the thought of being poor, you'd rather just not live.
Well, you know, that might be people who have never been poor. You know, because it's not that. I mean, it's not the end of the world to be poor. I mean, it kind of sucks. It's tough, but I mean, as long as you got, you know, enough food to eat and some kind of a roof over your head, you're not going to die, right? I mean, I know some places in the world people literally, you know, can starve to death, which seems like totally ridiculous that happens in the modern world, but it does happen. But I mean, in a lot of countries, poor, quote unquote, you're not going to die. You just might not have all the things you want.
The luxuries.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to buy your 6th fur coat.
No, you might not. You might have to get rid of some of your fur coats.
All right, Dylan, let's move on to Virginia. It's for lovers and ghosts. Most cemeteries are at least a little creepy, right? But Richmond residents believe the Hollywood Cemetery to be extremely haunted. So the landmark's deceased residents include over 18,000 Confederate soldiers.
Wow.
That's a lot of soldiers.
That's a lot of bodies in one place.
2 United States presidents, the president of the Confederacy, Jefferson Davis, and 25 Civil War generals. So in addition to those kind of famous burials or whatever, There's also a large cast iron Newfoundland dog marking a small grave in the cemetery. The statue stands guard over the grave, which holds the remains of a young girl who tragically died in 1862. So I guess that's kind of like one of the famous tombs or graves there.
That sounds like a really cool statue.
It does. Another strange site within the cemetery is the tomb marked W.W. Poole. The site seems similar to other mausoleum-style graves, but according to gossip and lore, the Richmond vampire dwells inside the tomb.
The Richmond vampire?
Yeah. These local legends have Richmond residents believing that the Hollywood Cemetery may not be a resting in peace kind of place, but maybe like a roaming around looking for prey kind of place.
Rest in pieces.
Yeah, so the Richmond vampire is a bit of an urban legend. Would you like me to tell you a little bit about W.W. Poole?
Yeah.
Okay. So, supposedly Poole was run out of England in the 19th century for being a vampire. Oral legends to this effect were circulating by the 1960s, and a lot of people think it could be influenced by the tomb's architecture, which has some Masonic and ancient Egyptian elements. And it has these two big, like, double W's, the W.W. Poole, that look like fangs. Yeah. So because the cemetery is pretty close to Virginia Commonwealth University, this story kind of became popular among students. It seems like in the 1980s, it really took off and started to spread. And it was first printed in a student newspaper back in 1976.
W.W. Poole.
Yeah.
I wonder what the W.W. stands for.
I don't know.
I guess we'll never
I
know.
want to suck your blood. No, I don't know. That doesn't start with a W, does it?
It doesn't at all, Heather. It doesn't even start with one W.
Okay, Dylan, I'm trying here. I'm trying, bud. Okay? This comedy, it's organic.
Yeah.
Has to just happen.
Well, yeah.
It's not on cue, bud. Sometimes you throw shit at the wall and see what doesn't stick.
Yeah, see, that's what I do. I just throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and I see what sticks. You know, sometimes it's a banger. Sometimes it's a big hit. A lot of times it's meh. You know, I can tell by the way you're looking at me if I'm on the right vein or not.
Yeah, I'm going to move along now.
You should move along.
So there's Bracy General Store, which is located in Bracy, and it's one of the earliest general stores in the area. Supposedly opened like around 1900. And Bracy General Store brought locals in like for all sorts of goods and household items. They even carried coffins in the store. And in addition to residents looking to stock up on their like home supplies, the store was frequented by travelers passing through town because it was located near a train depot. And there are no specific tragedies like credited for the hauntings, but people say, they out here saying, Dylan, that restless traveling spirits can still be seen walking briskly into the store. And the owner of the property claims to have captured many of the strange sightings on her security cameras.
Wow, I'd like to see that.
In Radford, there's the St. Albans Sanatorium. And if you know anything about sanatoriums, they were notoriously cruel in the early 20th century. We've discussed a lot of these asylums on previous episodes. They often used like electroshock therapy, lobotomies,
Cold water
these archaic
therapy
practices. Yes.
The one where
waterboarding
spin you in a chair
until your ears bleed.
setting in the center of like a round platform, spin you very, 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 very fast.
Pull all of your teeth.
Yeah, because that's where the mental illness hides, in your teeth. I mean, who the hell came up with that? I mean, let alone the sadistic sexual and physical abuses that were very common in those places.
Well, these practices were said to have, been tried on patients at St. Albans. And it's a facility not only where patients were tortured, but the property was the site of an extremely violent Civil War battle. And visitors today report hearing rifles, cannons firing, smelling gun smoke. And with so much misery occurring on a property like this, it's no surprise that it might be considered a haunted place.
Yeah. Yeah. Every time you have a big event, lots of death, all that mess. I wonder sometimes if people just kind of imagine these supernatural phenomenons because of whatever event, kind of like just assuming that there's ghosts there. Because if you believe in ghosts, and any little thing you may attribute to that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if it is not, it's just something simple. It's literally the house making noises, which old houses do that, or something that could easily be explained away.
But not like the pan being thrown across the kitchen into the living room.
Well, no,
which happened at our other house
on
more than one occasion.
Well, no, when things start defying physics, then it gets a little weird.
It is weird.
Well, if something falls or slips or slides off the counter, it typically falls by the counter. It doesn't fly across the room because
8 or 10 feet.
There's not really something that explains that.
No. Not when you just watch it fly across the room.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
All right. So another spot in Virginia, not surprising, Dylan, Colonial Williamsburg. Right? It's an early American settlement. There are numerous historical houses in Colonial Williamsburg that are believed to be haunted by many of the past residents. One of these properties is the Peyton Randolph House, which housed the Peachy family. Can I just say, I wish my last name was Peachy?
Yeah.
How are you today? I'm Peachy Keen.
Peachy Keen.
Right?
Now, I was thinking that same phrase when you said peachy.
You know what? The other day we had these little fried peach pies.
They were very good.
Oh, they were so good.
I haven't had a little fried fruit pie like that in a very long time.
Well, what got us started on this is, I have my 80s podcast, so I'm always talking about nostalgia. And I mentioned those little fruit pies. They were individually wrapped, and I don't even know the brand, but you could get them at the grocery. And I guess you can still find these pies.
Gosh, what is that brand?
But back in the day, these pies, they were always in the grocery store. They were like 50 cents for a pie?
Yeah, it'd be like two for $1.
I think now they're like $1 a piece. And they were the little fruit pies, and they were so good. Like, as a kid, I lived for those fruit pies. Like, I knew if we were going to the grocery store, I could con somebody into getting me one of those, right? And we were talking about how good they are, and that the modern version of those pies, not good.
Well, that's true for almost everything.
Yeah, they don't taste the same.
You think of something that you had 1,000,000 times when you were a kid, one of your favorite treats or desserts, and you'll get that again, and it just does not taste the same. Now, we always wonder amongst ourselves, is it that my palate changed as I aged?
I think it's the
or
products have changed.
Have they just continually replaced it with cheaper, faker ingredients to the point where it doesn't resemble its original, what you remember at all? And I got some Hawaiian Punch the other day. I mean, I sucked this down.
You were in the store and you heard some people talking about Hawaiian Punch, and you were like, man, I hadn't had Hawaiian Punch in years, and you bought a little jug of it.
No, it's funny. I heard a family that were talking about who's drinking up all the drinks in the refrigerator.
And not replenishing.
It's like
a dilemma we all have in our households, right?
And it was a younger couple. Apparently, they lived with the older lady. And it sounded
maybe like grandma or something
like that. And they were defending themselves. They were presenting evidence as to why it wasn't them that keeps drinking everything. And I thought it was a very funny conversation to overhear.
Because grandma was worried somebody was drinking her sodas.
All her sodas. And one of the bits of evidence the young gentleman put forth was apparently when his kids come to visit, he always gets Hawaiian Punch and juice and stuff, puts in the fridge. And then he expects, when they come back again for some of that stuff to still be there, but it's always gone. And it sounded like the culprit was like a teenage kid of somebody's teenage kid was drinking everybody's shit. So I get this Hawaiian Punch, which I drank by the barrel loads as a kid. I loved it.
You loved Hawaiian Punch.
I loved Hawaiian Punch.
I had a friend that obsessively drank Sunny D when we were kids. That chick, she lived on damn Sunny D. She didn't drink nothing else. I never saw her drink water, milk, nothing but Sunny D. And I never liked it.
I used to be down with the Sunny D.
But anywho, back to your Hawaiian Punch story.
I like the Sunny D a little bit. And I get this little. It was like $1, $1.25. Just a small bottle. I mean, a big bottle, but not the big gallon size or whatever. And it did not taste anywhere near like I remember as a child. it wasn't the same.
Mm.
It's a shame because back in the day, Hawaiian Punch was the shit.
Man, I never drank Hawaiian Punch growing up.
And I always had the red. I never got any other
You
flavor.
always had the red.
Well, I think there's blue, and I think there's orange, maybe.
Maybe that's what's wrong with you. Surviving on dye number 5.
Oh, it is natural. It said it had natural flavors in it.
I think my mama just didn't buy stuff like that.
Okay.
Like, it was rare. Like, we didn't have Sunny D or like, so my girlfriend, like I said, my childhood bestie, that's all she drank. And she'd always come to the house and be like, you got some Sunny D? And my mom would have to go buy it for her because she would not drink anything else.
Oh.
I mean, it was weird. Like, all she wanted was Sunny D. But my mom just didn't buy stuff like that. And I remember, like, once in a while having Kool-Aid, which was kind of like a special treat, but it's just sugar water, right?
You take that back. It's not just sugar water.
It's pretty much just sugar water.
It's Kool-Aid.
And then, like, having a Capri Sun was a big deal.
So what would
sometimes I would get like a Capri Sun and I could pack them in my lunchbox, and that was like a big deal.
So what I have to drink like 3 of those as an adult to be any kind of.
I know, right?
I will cut them. I found myself doing this. I will cut the corner off and pour it to an actual glass, like 2 or 3 of them over ice, and then enjoy my Capri Sun. And then the kids are like, "Where's all the Capri Suns?"
My son's never liked Capri Sun. Like, I've tried to be like, "Hey, you want to try this?" And he's just like, "Nah."
So what would be in your refrigerator as a kid?
Sweet tea.
Sweet tea.
Had a lot of sweet tea, milk,
Yeah.
water, and then usually juice of some kind.
Jeez.
Like apple juice.
No sodies or nothing?
Orange juice. Yeah, we would get like a 2-liter. Only the 2 liters. You never had
cans.
like cans or anything. That's too expensive.
Well, look.
But there'd be like a 2-liter of soda.
We got to stop with the cans and little bottles. It's like the smaller the can, the more they charge. And I just don't understand that.
True. Okay.
If you get the little 8-ounce, little 6-pack of 8-ounce, sodas, which is gone in like a couple of swigs, it is like $6 or $7 for one of the 6-packs.
We have really gotten off track on this episode.
Oh, it's okay.
We were talking about peachy pies and how that damn fried pie reminded me of our childhood fried pies. And I was tickled pink.
Okay.
To get me a peachy pie.
Let's get back to being scared.
So we got the Peachy family.
Okay, the Peachy family.
And they rented the property to many guests during their residency, including a young, unnamed soldier who attended the nearby William and Mary College. And unfortunately, this young man fell ill. He got ill, Dylan. He fell ill during his stay and never recovered. So he ended up dying in the home. And there have been multiple accounts of visitors spotting a young man walking sadly through the house or hearing heavy footsteps above their heads, even though no one is upstairs. And if you go to Colonial Williamsburg, people say this is definitely one of the creepiest locations on the ghost tour that is offered. There's a Colonial ghost tour. And it sounds kind of cool. It's like an hour and a half or so. And it's a moonlit tour of the historic grounds and the haunted spaces, so they do it at night.
That sounds pretty fun.
It sounds pretty cool, right?
Okay, I would go on that tour.
Now, Dylan, let's move out of Virginia and get into Tennessee.
I knew he's going down there in the Cumberland Gap.
You did?
Oh. I'm sorry, the Cumberland Plateau.
The Cumberland Gap.
That's right. I knew her once.
Johnson City, Tennessee. Okay.
I can't forgive that song because it's going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I know.
Why? You think it just sounded good?
I don't know.
Oh, let's not get off again. And that's a wagon wheel is the song. And if you're from
people know.
If you're from the area,
our listeners know about the damn wagon wheel.
You'll know his description of going from the Cumberland Gap to Johnson City, Tennessee, is the exact opposite direction of what you would really would do. Okay? It's the opposite.
Rock me mama. In Tennessee, Dylan, supposedly Loretta Lynn's ranch located at Hurricane Mills is haunted. So the historic 1800s home of country music icon Loretta has a spooky backstory, and the property is rumored to be haunted by deceased Civil War soldiers, a young woman who mourns the loss of her child, and the former owner of the land. Loretta and her family have reported bizarre happenings during their time living in the home, such as visits from ghostly apparitions, strange sightings, and unexplained noises. After doing some research, the family discovered these reports aligned with the history of the property. The ranch is located on the site of a Civil War battle, and more than 18 Confederate soldiers are believed to be buried on the grounds. Now, if you want to go visit Loretta's ranch, they do offer guided tours every day except Monday and Tuesday. There's also a campground at the property, which is kind of cool.
That doesn't surprise me that she would buy, like an older home like that. Kind of fits with her personality, Don't you think?
I do.
Wow.
I mean, she grew up in a cabin on a hill in Butcher Holler.
It's true.
Where her mommy washed her clothes on a washboard every day until her fingers bled.
One thing you got to say about Loretta, she was authentic.
Dude, I love Loretta. I'm telling you, Coal Miner's Daughter, that's my shit. I love that movie. I think that Sissy Spacek and Tommy Lee Jones are amazing in that movie.
They really kill it in that movie.
Dude, she just embodies Loretta. I think she does a great job.
And Tommy plays a really asshole-ish Do.
Do. Yeah, I think Do was like that.
I think so.
Yeah, from all the reports you get. Now, if you're in Memphis, the Orpheum Theater is said to be incredibly haunted, Dylan. Legend has it that in 1921, a 12-year-old girl named Mary died in a car accident in front of the Orpheum Theater in Memphis, but her spirit never left. Through the years, guests claim to have spotted Mary sitting quietly in the balcony in her favorite seat, C5, dressed in a 1920s-style white dress, or dancing in the hallways. And she's also known for playing childish pranks on housekeepers. She slams doors, the lights flicker, and sometimes tools, like used by maintenance and stuff, are hidden.
Oh, this sounds like a poltergeist.
Yeah. So, and you can also take a tour there. They do like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday tours throughout the year. So if you are in Memphis, you can take a tour of the theater.
Yeah, people could take a tour of our house if they want.
Are you going to charge them?
Yeah, of course. We need money. So for $1,000, I'll show you where I lay at.
In Huntsville, Tennessee, you can visit the historic Scott County Jail. It was built in 1904, and the former jail housed some of the most dangerous inmates from Scott County, with a history that includes the unsolved murder of a sheriff. The walls of the historic jail have a very storied history to tell. Today, the jail is on the National Register of Historic Places and serves as a 3-story true crime and law enforcement appreciation museum and an escape room.
Escape room.
I think like old jails are so kind of creepy, and I definitely would think that would be a place where you would find ghosts.
Well, yeah, it's all the suffering, the miserable conditions, the longing to be away from there or back home or missing family. It's got all the earmarks of a place that would be haunted. And plus, they're just creepy.
Yeah.
We're just thinking about being caged up in one of those cells.
Shackled.
No matter any place I've ever visited, it's always had an ominous energy.
Well, I remember growing up, our county jail, it was a really old jail, The
Rock.
And isn't that what they called it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've always heard stories that it was haunted by people who maybe had to spend the night in the drunk tank and stuff. Like over the years, I heard people talk about how it was a haunted jail.
That's just the other drunks.
And then there's the old Jackson County Courthouse in Sylva, North Carolina. Historic courthouse, beautiful, like kind of a postcard picture style courthouse.
That is one of the most
kind of iconic image.
It sets up on a hill, like at the end of Main Street. It really does.
It's like a dome style roof.
It seems like something out of a movie.
Yeah,
or it's not even real, or like if you made the.
Was it in that movie? 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri was filmed in Sylva.
I'm sure.
There might be shots of that courthouse in the movie. I'm not sure. But it's a gorgeous old courthouse. You can go check it out. Look it up online. But now it's a public library. But for years, it was the old courthouse, and there was a jail in the basement. And I have a few friends who work at the library currently that talk about how that building is very haunted, especially in the areas where the jail used to be.
There you go.
Yeah. So I've always thought that was kind of interesting. I'd like to go take a tour of that old jail.
I would like to see the old jail, too.
Ooh. If you're in Georgia, especially in downtown Atlanta, I'm sure folks have heard of the Fox Theater. You were born in Atlanta, Dylan.
I was born in the basement of the Fox Theater.
You were?
Yeah.
I thought you were born on the back of a Greyhound bus rolling down Highway 101 because you're a rambling man.
I was the main attraction.
Your mama wasn't on an Allman Brothers tour bus?
Yeah, she probably would have been if she had the opportunity. She might have been. I don't know. My mama was like, "What's up?"
Your mom's funny. Hey, Miss Kathy. So the Fox Theater in downtown Atlanta has been around since 1929. So that offers ample time for ghosts to weave their tales within its walls, Dylan. Originally constructed as a Shriner's Temple, the historic structure underwent a transformation into a movie palace, narrowly escaping demolition on multiple occasions. Now, visitors have reported encountering ghostly apparitions within the grand walls. Among the hauntings is that of a Confederate soldier who is often observed standing in the theater's windows. Another ghostly presence is that of an organist who serenaded audiences for 24 years at the Fox Theater. It is said that his ashes reside within the very organ he once played.
They just put his ashes in the pipes or something?
Some visitors have recounted interactions with a mischievous spirit, and the spirit is accompanied by the scent of roses that enjoys pranking visitors in the elevator and presses buttons for different floors.
Now, so when this spirit is near, you're going to smell roses sometimes?
Yeah.
That's pretty weird.
But there's... I've heard a lot of ghostly encounters or apparition, that there's a smell sometimes associated, like a perfume or a foul smell or that kind of thing. So, roses is at least pleasant.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a nice smell.
It's not like you get the scent of hot
rotting
garbage.
Flesh.
Yeah, it smells like hot garbage in here. Smells like 4-day-old pinto beans.
Gosh, beans go south quick.
That's the rottenest smell in the world to me.
Don't you dare leave that crock pot with them beans in it over there.
So while we're in Atlanta, let's talk about Rhodes Hall, often referred to as the Castle on Peachtree. It's one of Atlanta's oldest mansions and a focal point for supernatural phenomena. It was erected in the early 1900s with the stone from Stone Mountain. This grand mansion has garnered attention through appearances on like Ghost Hunters and Georgia's Haunted Hidden Treasures. And it gained notoriety due to the scary encounters by both visitors and staff. A tycoon named Amos Giles Rhodes designed the home for his wife. And they were reportedly pretty reclusive and like to be left alone. And they're often felt or seen chasing the staff out of the house and screaming, "Get out."
Wow.
Trying to get people to leave.
Like, what are you trying to tell us, Ghost? Get out.
Yeah.
What's your message? What's your message for us?
Get. That's it.
You got shooed by the ghost?
The message is get. All right, Dylan. So we're going to wrap it up for today. We will continue with our haunted road trip. Maybe we'll have another episode in a couple of weeks because there's so many awesome haunted places I would like to visit.
Such a spooky season is upon us.
As a matter of fact, I have a spooky graveyard that is supposed to be very haunted. That is not far from us, and we're going to take a trip there.
Okay.
So we'll have to talk about it once we go.
All right. That'd be awesome.
All right, Dylan. You stay classy.
And you
stay peachy.
You stay ashy.
You're the stay itchy, Dylan.
Oh, I'm itching right now.
Okay, bye.
Bye.